Hey, doing? Mario Cerrito, and you're listening to We Found a Tape.
Hello, found footage fans, and welcome to We Found a Tape. We're a podcast dedicated to all things found footage. Shaky cams, paranormal sightings, and everything with an authentic edge to make it all feel real. My name's John.
And I'm David.
And join us as we hit play and uncover what lies beyond the tape. Welcome everyone to a very special episode today on We Found a Tape. We had this idea when we first started talking about this, and we discovered Found TV, which is a fantastic found footage streaming service that everyone should most definitely check out if you haven't already. But we had this idea to pick some random movies, and we spun a wheel, and it would decide which movies we watch. And we were going in blind. These were ones that we'd never seen before. And we thought it'd be a fun idea to bring something fresh to the podcast and things to talk about. So this one was actually one of mine, and it was the first one that popped up, and it was the first one that I was most curious about. And it's Human Hibachi from 2019, about a group of friends who visit a hibachi restaurant to celebrate someone's birthday, only to become unwilling participants in a gruesome cannibalistic operation. The recorded footage reveals the shocking truth behind the restaurant's horrifying secret. What a wild ride.
Yeah, when I first saw the name, it was kind of weird because, Human Hibachi, I thought it was just like a slasher movie. That's the first thing that popped into my head, right? Me and you kind of watched this together and streamed it so we could kind of check it out. Totally wasn't what I was expecting, but it totally went a different direction there. But yeah, it was interesting to say the least. I don't know. I kind of like to go in blind sometimes in movies and read synopsis or watch trailers just because, it's a nice surprise. But
for sure, yeah, no, I definitely went into this blind. I had seen it on Found. It's one of the reasons why it kind of gave me this idea, and it would kind of give us a reason to watch some of these different movies that we wouldn't normally choose. We decided to pick a few different ones, and this was the first one I picked. I had it on my watch list and Found, and I read the description on Found, but other than that, I didn't watch any trailers. I didn't read any reviews. I've seen people talk about it, but completely blind going in, and I think that was probably the best way to experience it, to be honest.
Yeah, it was definitely a surprise.
One interesting thing that I noted down here is the fact that he explains that there's music and it's edited in a way because these people are selling these DVDs, this footage, presumably on the dark web for money, which ties in later on to the fact that this is a whole operation. And then it starts to go into, it shows the woman, she gets beat up behind some bins. It goes into the birthday story where the girl's getting woke up, and it's a guy documenting her birthday throughout the day, and it takes quite the twist, which I appreciated. The boyfriend, spoiler, boyfriend is in on it.
Yeah, it definitely is. Not because I don't want to pass it, but the shower scene was very nice.
Yep. I knew that would be one that you would like in particular, David.
Yes, the shower scene was very nice. Yeah, so they start the day, right? He's taking her places. I believe he took her out to lunch somewhere for some drinks, and I can't recall. Was it a 2-day thing or was it the same day? Because it feels like
it was all the same day. Partly it was all the same day. It was kind of strange because they went out for lunch and then they got I guess they had too many drinks and he went home and had a nap and then they went out for dinner later.
Okay. It kind of felt like it was a 2-day thing right there because they went back home and then they were back out again. So it kind of threw me off there.
For sure.
Yeah, so he tells her that there's a surprise, so they go over to his restaurant as he mentioned, and they're going out with a couple of friends. So they pick up the friends and they go out together as a couple and or as a double date, and go down to the restaurant. They're celebrating. Um, you could tell right off the bat the host, was a little off.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could tell he was very, very. He had that sinister look to him, like I'm gonna cook you later.
Yeah, he looked kind of Yakuza to me. Like,
Yeah,
he looked like, I don't know if this is just me
very
stereotyping a bit.
mafia vibe to him. Yeah.
Yeah, I got some Yakuza vibes. There was definitely like a sinister operation. You definitely felt it as soon as they went in the restaurant. They started drinking, and this camera sort of slowed down. They had someone else film so that the boyfriend didn't have to film so much. So, but we follow Kate, who's the birthday girl, Rio, who is the boyfriend and accomplice. Then we have Paul and Megan. Those were the four main characters of the people who were out for hibachi. They turned out to be the main course. So the operation at the hibachi restaurant offers a after hours special for, I guess, wealthy clientele to come and enjoy some human hibachi, which that was a prolonged period of just heavy gore effects, which were done incredibly well, by the way. I love the practical effects in this. Yeah, they were having like a special dinner to celebrate their like sales quarter, and it seemed like a thing that they did fairly often, which was quite unsettling. But the part that got me, one of the funniest parts for me, the containers that had different liquids in it. One was yellow, one was red, and he asks if he wants yellow or red. And then they just spray like piss and blood on them as part of the experience, which was super fucking weird. But yeah, I guess to each their own.
Complimentary golden and red shower. I thought the funniest part was they used Paul, right, the one that walked off in the beginning, where they put his head as the centerpiece, and they put his penis in his mouth, or a penis in his mouth, and he was just like the centerpiece the entire time of the table. So I thought that was pretty hilarious.
It was funny seeing it the whole way, but then when you get to the end and you find out there's like there's really like three twists that happen right at the very end of this movie, which kind of threw me off. I wasn't a huge fan of that, to be honest. It was just kind of like, oh well, it could have just ended with Paul being being an accomplice, and that would have been one thing. He was fine the whole time, so he just sat there with like a dick in his mouth for the whole dinner, which seemed to last for like a good amount of time. That I found very odd, especially if it's supposed to be a real dick. It was very odd. So maybe it was like some sort of gelatin one that they made that they had for dessert, and that's just like a joke.
It looked very like jelly, like a giant gummy bear, but in the shape of a dick, So that was pretty funny. But I wasn't a fan of the multiple plot twists. Maybe the two, it made sense, like him being in on it, and then Rio was, they ended up killing him because what was it, theft? I think it was.
Yeah, I think he was embezzling a little bit from them.
Yeah. So I mean, those two I could have lived with, but I think it was just too much going on towards the end. But yeah, if we had just stuck with Paul was in on it, but I mean that was dedication on his part to. That was like a 5 to 7 course meal, so that would have to have at least taken like 2 to 3 hours just for the sake of filming it. He was pretty dedicated to that. So.
And one part I also noted down that I thought quite funny was when they had the butcher, and he was like cutting them all up and all that, and he's just like, I love my job, or I love my work. And then he just gets paid, and then he takes off. But the scenes where they're showing the hibachi chef cooking all the food, like cooking hearts and ribs and all that was done very well, because I mean obviously they're probably real hearts and stuff like that from a butcher shop in real life, but they made it look as if it was real, and they'd captioned it. Which was hilarious. They captured it Kate's meat and like Megan's meat and all that. That was so funny. But the practical effects were so good in this. When they had the hanging torso in the refrigerator,
Yeah, that was
um,
really good.
it looked so real.
Yeah, it was a good one. And then of course the third plot twist was the cop was in on it because they come in and raid the place, and you know they ended up showing up for the course too as well, or towards the end. So
It threw me off a lot. I don't know that it really added much to the whole thing. They were there,
I
and then it cuts to the police officer with the woman, and she's like dead. There's blood everywhere, and she's like shot herself or something. I don't know. That didn't make much sense to me. Didn't feel really cohesive.
I think if they were gonna add that part, or just them being in on it, I think they should have added, they should have cut that whole entire scene out, and put the part where they show everybody sitting at the table, like everybody and then they put them into the frame of looking at her. Then that would have I think that would have
Right.
been, me personally, that would have been good.
For sure. Yeah, no, I agree with you on that one. I think that would have been more impactful. Yeah. Another thing that I really thought was quite funny was the meat platter that they had, and then they had carrots and broccoli, and then toes and fingers as part of
Yeah,
it with like blood dipping sauce.
yeah. And all the toes and fingers still had their nails, and they were just kind of taking and sticking them in their mouth. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, take the nail off at least. Jeez.
Nails and like the finger bones. Like that would
Right,
have been so gross, but I guess they probably would have just chewed the meat off and then spat the rest out.
I guess so, man. I guess if you've ever eaten oxtail, it's kind of like that because it's very bony in the middle with meat around it. So you're just kind of like spitting the bone out.
Right. It was fun. Like I had a great time
Yeah.
watching it. I thought it was really
Yeah,
fun.
I will admit though, not Megan, the other girl's name escapes me, the birthday girl. As soon as she got a few drinks in, and even before, she was just very annoying to me. I don't know if you've ever taken out a girl before on a date and they get to be that annoying drunk. That kind of like struck a chord with me. And not that it was bad acting, it was just an annoying character. But yeah, that was.
She got a bit too drunk. But I mean, I guess it's her birthday, and
Yeah.
I'm fairly certain that they probably drugged like the sake, because we noticed that that Rio wasn't drinking any of the sake, but everyone else was something that I noticed, and yeah, it was. They just got progressively more drunk, and then yeah, the practical effects mixed with the real hibachi cooking was really impactful for me. I thought it was really well done, and
Yeah.
made it that bit more believable. It's really a good trick for movies to make things more believable, is to show something that's real, whether that's a real object being hit with like a real axe hitting wood, and then a fake axe hitting someone in the face and like cutting their face up. It's always a good trick, so I think that really lent well into it.
Just so everyone's aware, I watched this again today before we started reviewing it, and I definitely had some sushi today with my Human Hibachi viewing. So if you are watching it, I definitely recommend the sushi with it. It's a nice little combo.
I thought that was hilarious. I thought it was so good, and it turned out so well. It looked really really fun. Yeah, for me, I did have a good time watching this. I thought it was well done. It wasn't super long. It was about an hour and 18 minutes. There's probably some parts that could have been cut out. And like I said, the twist endings were a bit too much for me. But overall, I had a really good time watching it. And honestly, I think I'd probably give it a 3 out of 5.
Interesting. Okay. I would say 2, but I believe it deserves a 3 because aside from the plot twists, there were nice surprises. Everything was done so well. So for that, I would definitely give it a 3 as well. I can't really justify giving it a 2 because a lot of the practical effects were done really well. So definitely a 3.
So along with our review of Human Hibachi, we thought it'd be a really cool idea to also include the creator and director of this movie, Mario Cerrito, and he's going to be joining us to talk more about the sequel and the upcoming Human Hibachi 3.
Yeah, guys, so stick around for this awesome interview with Mario, and grab yourself a snack, grab yourself some sushi, and let's just dive into some more Human Hibachi.
We're joined today by a very special guest. We're joined by Mario Cerrito, the creator, director, writer of the Human Hibachi franchise. We're so honored to have you on talking to us today. How are you doing today, Mario?
Good. Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's our pleasure. We had a great time watching Human Hibachi together. David watched it a couple of times more than I did, but we watched it. We watched it together. It was a great time. We were laughing. We were looking away in disgust, and that's
Right.
that's what we like in our horror movies and our found footage movies. So, thank you for that.
For sure.
One thing I'm curious on is what were some of the main inspirations that made you want to go down this route for Human Hibachi?
So honestly, like, it was born in the hibachi restaurant. Me and my wife were eating. It was late at night. We were having some drinks, and we started thinking crazy. We're like, hey, what if they locked the place down, and they were, killed us and served us to people that came and paid for human consumption. So that kind of is what started it. And I mean, to answer your question, I did feature films that weren't found footage before I did found footage. I did like regular cinematic movies, you know what I mean? The whole, big film crew and all that. And they didn't get much traction, you know what I mean? They kind of just blended into all the other thrillers that are out there, and they didn't really make a name for themselves. So I was like, how can I really just, do something that stands out a little bit? So I just went off the wall. I did something, I want to say, that was just off the wall. And that's really the inspiration behind it, was like, do something that I could afford to do, which you can do with found footage, and make it stand out. So that's kind of how it was born.
There's a lot of scenes in here where you're in the hibachi restaurant,
Right.
You're in the kitchen.
Right.
Were those places that you knew someone that owned the restaurant, or?
Yeah. So, when you're working with so limited money, like, you got to use every resource you have. So my friend owned a restaurant, which is clutch because, I mean, a lot of times you don't know anybody that owns a restaurant. You got to really, yeah. So, they were like, yeah, you come in and shoot, but you got to shoot overnight. So I was like, oh God. So now, you got to wait till because their business ends at 11 or 12. So now I can't start till 12 o'clock. And then, so that was the only thing that sucked about it. But, it was still a decent hookup on that.
And on the name for the movie Human Hibachi, was that something that was always like stuck with you, set in stone, or did you play with other titles?
Going back to like 2017 is when I wrote the script. So I'm trying to think, but it was me and like another guy, like another producer. I think we played around with one other name, and then I went back and I said, nah, man, it's Human Hibachi. I think we were like saying hibachi. I think it was just going to be called hibachi at first.
Right.
And it was that maybe for a week, and then I went back to him. I was like, it's got to be Human Hibachi, and that's, you know what I mean? Because I feel like title is everything. So I was like, it's got, like, hibachi just doesn't hit, and that's how it came to Human Hibachi.
Yeah, that was one thing that I wanted to ask that stuck out with me, because I started playing with the name. Was, did he go, think about Cannibal Hibachi or
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Like hibachi night or hibachi hell or hell hibachi. Yeah, nah. Yeah, exactly.
Finger food.
Yeah. So that one just stuck, and I was like, all right, let's go with this.
Yeah. We, a thing that we're going to start doing is we're going to pick random movies from Found TV. This was before they started the whole creator suite that they have in place, where they were getting people to promote the service. We just loved it so much that we were like, let's just pick random movies. We'll call it like a brain watch special. So this was the first one that popped up for us.
That's funny.
I was going through Found TV, saw Human Hibachi, and I was like, I want to watch that. So what we did is we both picked 3 titles. We put them in a wheel and we spun the wheel, and then that's how we decided which movies. First one that pops out, Human Hibachi. We both looked at each other and we just burst out laughing. And we're like, yes,
let's go with it. Yeah, that's funny.
But yeah, you're absolutely right there. Like the title's everything, and that is what sold me originally. It was like, oh, this is coming out in I think it was November or December on Found TV, and I'm like, can't wait for that. Can't wait for that.
That's
so
cool,
it was really, it's all kind of came full circle. We were talking about the doing this whole podcast, and it was really when you were in the found footage group, and we were conversing a little bit, and I was like, let's just do it. Let's just fucking do this thing.
Yeah, fuck it, dude.
Full circle for us, which is awesome.
That's neat. Yeah, that's awesome, dude.
inspirations in terms of filmmakers, and we were talking about before. What were some of the main ones specifically for found footage and also for Human Hibachi?
Filmmakers or films in general? Are you saying
Both.
films?
Yeah, filmmakers, films.
Well, so I'm 40. I'll be 41 next month. So I saw Blair Witch Project when there was no internet. So like I might have been. Oh my god, man! I was probably like 14 when that dropped, and that scared the shit out of me. Like because you're 14 years old and you hear the rumor that there's this movie that's for real. I mean, they said it was real, so that hooked me. The Blair Witch Project hooked. Because no internet back then, you couldn't look it up. Hey, it's Blair Witch. There was no Google. You didn't know. So that's what stuck to me was Blair Witch, and then that evolved to some other. I think like back in the early days, I think I watched Quarantine. I liked that a little bit, and then Paranormal Activity was okay. So but Blair Witch is like my all-time favorite. I've said that. I'm on record saying that a couple times. But then on the other side of like not found footage, I like Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1974. It's probably my all-time favorite. Hostel, big fan. So I kind of blended some of that stuff and take inspiration from a bunch of stuff. Human Hibachi 2, if you watch that takes a lot of inspiration from Wrong Turn, Texas Chainsaw. So yeah, so they're kind of like my things. I like the woods kind of films, and so yeah.
I definitely got Texas Chainsaw vibes from the second one.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So it's like Texas Chainsaw, and then you put the cannibals. Yeah, so yeah, for sure, man.
Were you born in 84?
84.
Oh man, me and you, man.
You're 84 too, bro?
Yeah, I saw it, Blair Witch Project at 14 years old too.
Yeah. So 84. So you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean it's a classic. It's it's first of its kind, really. I mean, so I mean Cannibal Holocaust. That was probably the original. There might have been one before that, I think they say, but I mean, Blair Witch would really just, they did it right.
Yeah, the way they promoted it and everything like
That's
that.
what it was.
You could just go on the internet and just search all this stuff up like you can today. So
exactly, they just hit it at the right time. Yeah, they really did. Yeah, that was timing.
One I found again later on in life, which was just before Blair Witch, was The Last Broadcast, which is another one that's it's a bit more central into like simulcasting, where they were doing live streams at the time, when live streams weren't a thing. So,
right.
Yeah, it's kind of it's similar. They're going out looking for I think it's for the Jersey Devil.
Oh, cool! Right where I'm at.
Yeah. So if you're looking for an old found footage to check out, that came out around about the same time as Blair Witch.
That's called The Last Broadcast. Okay.
Last Broadcast. Pretty sure it's on Found TV as well.
They got a good platform, man. Found TV. They did. Yeah, they really did it. Yeah, they did a good job.
Yeah, and we didn't really know of any specific found footage places. You got Tubi TV, which
they have categories. Yeah.
On there. There's a specific category. Shudder now has a category for found footage, which is great. Okay. And then there's another one that's lesser known. It's called POV horror, and I'm pretty sure.
I've heard of that. Yeah.
Like found footage, but it wasn't as accessible as found. It's found's all free with ads, which
sounds awesome.
To Tubi, so
I found doing a good job.
They're also based in Canada. They're based in Niagara.
Yeah. So I became friends with Louis. He's the owner. He's a good dude. Louis Lavelle.
Yeah, they're both awesome.
Yeah.
Another thing that definitely stood out, going back to Human Hibachi, was the effects that were made.
Yeah.
Spectacular, first of all. I thought it was incredibly impactful. The different guts and mixing that with like what I presume to be not necessarily human, but other organs that were cooked on a grill. Added to that, and it's such a fantastic technique. It's almost like the Tom Savini style of doing things, where you like hit a block of wood with a real axe, and then you cut to someone who's getting their face caved in with a fake axe. It brings that to life. In terms of the effects that were used, were there any challenges that you ran into when you were creating that? Would love to hear about that.
So with that, so that was real meat. The challenge that you run into that is timing. So you want to buy it, and when you buy it, it comes frozen a lot of times. So you got to have it thaw out by the time you shoot, but you don't want it spoiled either, so it can't go bad. So it's a timing thing on the meat. Other than that, most of the budget was dumped into the effects and anything that I could do to make that stand out. Just because you're not buying top name actors and all that. So I knew with this kind of movie, you would have to go effect on it. You know what I mean? The effects. So that was my focus, was the effects and the story too. But yeah. So I mean, the biggest challenge is keeping the meat so it doesn't smell like shit when you're on set. So I would say that was the biggest challenge. Yeah, I'm doing that right now because I'm in the middle of shooting the third one. So I'm dealing. I'm literally right in the middle of production. So I'm dealing with that. The same thing. I got intestines out on my side porch right now, thawing out.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah. I took them out today. So they were in the freezer for 6 months. Yeah, I saved them for like 6 months, and now I'm finally thawing them out.
It's real guts. It's not
that's all real.
Everything's all real for the movie. Wow.
Yeah. There's one section in if you're talking about the first one, there's one section where they eat the intestines. It's two couple that come down. She's got the intestines on like a plate. It's when they go in the basement. Yeah. They were not real. That's like they're like edible intestines, but anything else was like real. Yeah.
We were making comment when we were watching it, like when the guy's like it's the character's name is Megan.
Yeah.
I thought that was hilarious, and then he's just chopping up all this meat, putting ribs on the fryer. Oh man, we were dying laughing.
Yeah, and that's what the whole idea behind this is, like to like gross people out, but then make like comedy out of it. Like it's like yin and yang. You know what I mean? Like
right.
Yeah. So that's like you want them to be like and then laugh and then like so it's kind of like back and forth with that. Yeah, that's the whole premise behind it. So you guys get it. Yeah, that's all.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And the funnest part of shooting the first one was like the cannibal guys, because they're talking about sales in the company and like could take them to human while they're eating a guy's dick. Like, so it's like, what is going on here? You know what I mean? Like, what is going on? Like, so that was real fun to do because those guys have really good chemistry. So it was fun.
Nice.
It was just we were all tired. It was like 6 a.m. and I was like, just have fun with it, man.
I got a kick out of the part where he comes out with the 2 squeeze bottles and he's do you want the red or the yellow?
yeah. That is funny. It's funny because we're gonna revisit that in the third one, like that whole sequence. Yeah, so that's something to look forward to. Yeah.
I am curious though. Now that we're on the subject of the penis, when it did come back out as cooked, was that like a gelatin mold?
Yeah, it was just like a gelatin one, I believe. Yeah, that was so long ago. We shot it in 2018. My memory's like getting crazy fucked up, but yeah, that was. I think it was. Yeah. I think it was a gelatin one. I couldn't get them to eat plastic or rubber, so I was like.
we had a good laugh at like when he's sitting as the centerpiece with the dick in his mouth the whole time.
Yeah. That was over a course of like 6-7 hours. That guy did that.
Jeez, that's crazy.
Yeah. That scene was like 6 or 7 hours. So like that guy was a trooper.
Wow, yeah, talk about dedication, man. To the
craft. Yeah, dude. Yeah, he took one for the team, and that wasn't in the original script either. So I a lot of stuff I do like the night before. I'll start thinking about shit. So I was like, yo, his name's Carmine. I was like, dude, I'm thinking I'm gonna put your head through a table and put a dick in your mouth. And he was like, all right, whatever you want to do, man. And then he did it. So it was pretty cool. It was on the fly. Yeah, it was on the fly.
That's so funny. Another thing that I personally was laughing hysterically at was the little platter with like the carrots, the broccoli, and then fingers and ears, and blood sauce. Yeah. Oh my god, man!
Yeah. The little finger foods, man. Yeah, put the real fingers in the finger food. Yeah.
What kind of grossed me out, I mean, I guess I would have been content if I was in their shoes eating fingers, but the nails were still attached when they were putting them in their mouth. I was like, oh no.
Yeah, that's gross, man. You gotta take it off like you take the skin off a shrimp, man. Peel it back.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the guys' chemistry, like you said. I mean, they all flowed so naturally and
Yeah.
speaking, interacting with each other like they had been co-workers for years.
Right. Yeah.
It was just like solid fluid, like back and
Yep.
forth banter.
Yeah, they were like chumming it up at their like monthly dinner meeting, whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
yeah, like something they look forward to every month. They have their sales reports, and then they just eat humans. It's just like it's so off the wall. It's like, all right, yeah. It was a lot of fun, man.
It's funny because it's off the wall, but then when you see some of these or you hear some of these stories of execs and the type of parties that they actually do have, it's
They do,
not that far from
exactly.
the truth, I reckon.
Right.
But you might be onto something.
Yeah, dude. You know what's funny is like years later, I seen like something about like a Asian restaurant that was caught serving humans. Like I don't know if you ever seen that story, but it surfaced. Yeah, there's a story, and I was like, holy shit, yeah, dude. You don't know what goes on. So that is a good point you say that, because there's a whole bunch of crazy people out there for real. So it kind of is like, man, does this really? It could actually happen. We don't know, and so it gives you that, man. Maybe this shit's real, or so yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, with the things that go on in today's world, nothing's impossible anymore.
Nothing's impossible.
Yeah.
Nothing.
And then with the second one, it continues the story. They're on the run in the woods, and they've come across, or they're come across by some wild fans of the original.
Correct.
Human Hibachi, driven to make sure that this makes it to the dark web and it doesn't get caught in the middle. From an idea perspective, after the first Human Hibachi, what was the main driving force for getting that second one?
I wanted to make the universe a little bigger. Go into the woods, you can open things up. You can do a lot more things for free. You know what I mean? Whereas like when you're working with like locations, it's tough. Budget wise, when you're in the woods, you have a free reign, and then you have that natural scary. The woods are scary naturally, so that's kind of why I was like, all right, let's take it to the woods, man, and that it's where it ended up, and we had fun.
Yeah, it definitely came across that it was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah,
it translates, and there's more women kill scenes as there is in the first.
Yeah. I stepped it up a little bit on like the violence and all that. That was actually my favorite movie to shoot out of any movie I've done, was that one. I just had that one was fun.
From my research, it won an award at the New Jersey Film and Horror Con. Is that correct?
Yeah. So the New Jersey Horror Con and Film Festival, that's in Atlantic City. Both of them won Best Feature Film. I mean, and there's a lot of movies that go in. There's like 30 to 40 over the course of a weekend, maybe more. I mean, that's just the ones they screen. Both of them went back. They went back to back. So that was an honor for sure. Yeah.
That's incredible. I didn't realize it was a back-to-back thing, but
back to back, yeah.
Incredible. Congratulations.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Of course, you said you're working on the third one now, which is attached to the Troma universe now.
It is.
What was it like getting involved with Troma and the whole process behind that? Did they come to you? Did you come to them? Or
it was kind of like a mutual thing. So they had distributed both the first one and second one on Troma. Now they have their own streaming platform. So I got in tight with them. I got in tight with some producers that I know through their company. So I was talking to the one guy. I was like, how can we make this work? We had set it up. We're like, yo, let's film a thing at Troma, and then we incorporated that into the third one. So working with Lloyd was awesome. Yeah, so he makes an appearance in the third one, so it's really neat.
Does he have a kill scene? Or
No. He's the very end of the movie.
Wow. Okay.
So he ends the trilogy.
It was planned to be a trilogy. There's no.
It just kept going. It's because it really did develop like a cult following. So I was like, I got to keep going, and so that's kind of how it evolved. So yeah, I've been doing this since 2012. And I've come across so many guys that are independent filmmakers. So it's really hard to separate like the rise from here to here in independent film is tough because there's not a lot of money, to boost you. So, when you get to where you're now you're tied in with Troma, and then you're working with them, then it's surreal because it's so hard to climb the ranks because there's so many guys here that it gets like saturated. You know what I mean? It's hard to make any kind of name for yourself because there's just so many people at this level. So to get to that level now where you're tied in with like Troma Entertainment and so it was definitely like an honor to be able to go into their studios and work with them. So it was a nice accomplishment. Yeah. And then we got Debbie Rochon coming in this week. I work with her Saturday, so she's got a nice role in this too. So
Wow.
yeah, it's gonna be awesome, man.
Yeah, it's great to see it start from the first Human Hibachi.
That's right.
Although it's incredibly impactful from an independent film perspective, you see the rise, the gradual rise through each
It's
of
crazy.
these films. Like the third one's just going to be
and that's crazy. You nailed it, and that's kind of how I was like thinking about the other day. I was like, I remember when this all started. You're getting like your like local Philadelphia actors where I'm at. You know what I mean? And then it's like, all right, and then all of a sudden now it's like grown into like now you have actual independent stars in the movie, in the film stars, and it's like, and it speaks volumes to like what you're doing as a creator. It's like and but it's weird like. As a creator, I personally appreciate the first one. It's always the first one to me. Like you appreciate, you know what I mean? Like, like even like if the third is better or you got more, for some reason you have that soft spot for the first one. And as a creator, I don't know, maybe because that's like your firstborn. I don't know. But that's how that feels.
It could be. I think that's a good way of looking at it. It's kind of try to pick your favorite children.
Exactly, yeah. Like, and I guarantee if you ask any of like the the guys like that did the franchises, Halloween or Nightmare on Elm Street, they'll probably tell you the first one. It's the first one. You know what I mean? Like, if you look at all like actually, and I do a lot of research. Like, if you look at there's very rarely a second film's rated higher than a first. There's a couple that have been, but it's always the first. And I don't know if that's by default. People just say, nah, they just. You know what I mean? But it's the first installment is always rated the highest for most part.
You're not wrong.
Yeah. There's a couple. I think there has been one or two films that I've seen the second one rated higher. I forget which one it was, but there has been a couple.
The only movie that I can think of that I ever saw that was better in the second than the first was Terminator 2.
Yeah, that's a good one. Right.
Good one.
Yeah.
A lot of people say Godfather Part 2 is better than Godfather.
2. Yep, Godfather 2, and then 3 just shit the bed.
Yeah.
The 3, yeah. A lot of times 3, like, some people say, like, 3 can make or break a franchise. It probably can. That's why I was actually apprehensive to do the third, but the idea was pretty good, and I was like, I was making some money, so I was like, I guess we'll do a third one. So,
like you said, it's growing into such a cult fan base.
It has, yeah. It has,
like
yeah.
That, in time, even like people are still going to come back to the first movie, and then they're going to rediscover this whole backstory, this expanded universe. So it's always
that was the driving force. Yeah, like you said, like if the first or second. If the first one didn't stick, obviously I wouldn't have done the second one, but the second one stuck, and I'm like, all right, so let's do a third. So yeah, that was the driving force behind it. If it works, don't fit. Because I was thinking of other ideas, like maybe I should do another film, and I have another found footage idea too that you guys will it's probably even funnier than this one. I just haven't done it yet. So, but I was like, all right, let's do the third one, and then I'm probably going to work on that one.
Nice.
So, and then I'll probably go back and do a fourth one of these. I don't know. Whatever,
Human Hibachi bloodlines.
yeah, exactly.
That's kind of how it goes. Human Hibachi in space.
What's that? Back to the Hood, like a Leprechaun.
That actually could be a fun one. Human Hibachi in the Hood.
Dude, my it's funny that you say that because my friend brought that up. He was like, "Yo, we definitely have to do one in the hood," and I was like, "Yo, that's a good idea. That would be fucking funny, dude." Yeah, it would, dude. Street food, like cart in the hood, it would just be funny, dude.
You can see the ideas with that one.
Like in a dark alley, like street cart food, like
right, yeah.
Yeah. That's what's fun about this particular franchise. There's just so many avenues. Like you can go hillbilly, you can go in the hood, or different countries. Like it's just got a lot of different food. It's food, so anything with food.
For sure, yeah, and you could even have like a high end type thing as well. Like
Correct. Yeah, like
so many,
correct.
the service industry is just wide open of different
Yeah.
available opportunities. I mean, that like the list is endless.
Maybe we'll
pick
just
your
go to
own
Human
thing.
Hibachi 20. Fuck it. Dude, just
Yeah.
do it everywhere. Yeah. Do you guys know what is there like a world record of like sequels? Like, does anybody know what they are? Like, is there like 17 of something, or does anybody know? Because
That's a great question. I've never looked that up.
I
before.
thought of it. Yeah. I've been thinking, like, is there a Guinness Book of World Record? Like, there has to be a film that's done. I don't know. I mean, because you got to think, like, Saul's on 10, right?
Yep.
And Fast and Furious, they're right around there too, aren't they? And they got to be close to that too.
Yeah. Friday the 13th pretty high up there as well.
Yeah. I think I want to say I looked it up. There might be one with like 16, but it's like an independent franchise. But I don't know. It's interesting because I'm 40. If I do one I might just go for the world record and just do one every 2 years. Fuck it. Just get your name in the Guinness Book of World Record.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Wow. So the Dracula franchise has the most horror movie sequels with 23 films as of 2023.
And they're all like in the same franchise, I'm guessing, right? It is, 23.
Right.
Yeah, some are probably remakes, like
Yeah.
Reboots.
All the Dracula movies as one universe, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Because it's all Bram Stoker.
What's that date back to? Like the 30s or 40s? Like the Dracula's old. Like that's
1931 to 2023. Wow.
Yeah, dude.
That's quite a franchise.
Yeah. Wow.
Interesting.
That is interesting. Yeah, I always think of stuff like that. I'm always thinking like,
The Human Hibachi 2 definitely steps things up a bit. And
now this one, I will say this for the so the second one again, it's like I feel like the first one is more comedy horror, whereas the second one's probably more horror comedy. And the third one, this one is probably going to be, I want to say horror, a little this one is more extreme in terms of like really pushing boundaries. So that's what I did on the third one, with a couple scenes, you know what I mean? Not to give it away, but like there's a couple scenes like I want to say like you know like August Underground, like shit like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I kind of went that route of like stuff that is like unconventional. You know what I mean? Just I haven't filmed it yet, but we'll see how it turns out. But you get these ideas, and then you're like, yeah, let's just go with it. I don't know. We'll see.
And that's the thing when you put something on paper and then when you actually go to physically do
Correct.
it, sometimes the stars don't align and it doesn't translate very well. But other times you can catch lightning in a bottle. So that's
right.
That's the main reason just to go for it. And
you go for it, right? So, exactly.
Yeah, we're in full support of that.
yeah, just go for it. I'll tell you straight up, it's a necrophilia scene. So like you don't get much of that. I'll be honest, like there's not a lot of films that do that. Necrophilia, I mean, it's kind of really like taboo. You know what I mean? So it's actually hard to get actors to do that. I'll be honest with you, because it's like it is so taboo, and it's like, you know, I mean, August Underground, I think oh god, there's a couple films that I was like researching that did it, but this one's going to be darker. I would say it's definitely dark.
Okay.
As a filmmaker, I like to explore different.
Necromantic is one that comes to mind.
That's another one. Yeah. Yep.
In a past life, we spoke about Necromantic and them fashioning a corpse pipe. Is what we like to call it. Where she made a pipe for her dead lover.
Yeah. So the whole like premise behind the third one is it's about a guy that it's like a hyper religious guy. So you know these like religious freaks that like do everything in the name of Jesus, like they, you know what I mean, like everything's in the name of Jesus, and like, you know, so this guy takes it overboard, and he crosses paths with Jin from, you know, the Japanese guy. So it's kind of like he's working for him to use his platform to get people to do certain things under the name of Jesus. So it's kind of like this whole, you know, religious angle.
And on part 3, are you shooting for a 2025, 2026 release?
Yeah, we'll probably try and premiere it this year. Like, I would say probably in the fall, I'm thinking, you know what I mean? And then depending on I'll probably I'll probably release this one myself at first, because the first burst you get a lot of rentals. You know what I mean? So I'll probably release this one first, and then I'll probably give it to a distributor after. But a lot of physical media sells, so that's like, these do well with physical media. I shipped 100 DVDs to Tokyo, Japan. Yeah, this there was a store, and it was like a brick and mortar DVD store. They reached out to me, so I'm on like my Facebook, Human Hibachi Facebook account, and I get a message from like this Japan video store, and they're like, "Hey, could you ship us?" I had to translate; it was in Japanese. Can you ship us out? They wanted 30 at first. I sent 30 out, and then they wanted another like 70. So there's like 100 DVDs to Japan. Yeah, Tokyo. I mean, it's physical media. It was doing really well. Australia, a brick and mortar store. I mean, 16 different countries, physical media. I mean, it's unheard of. I mean, at an independent level.
Reminds me a lot of you mentioned earlier August Underground. That's also another one that
right, same kind of thing.
It just recently got an Unearthed Films release. A special edition for all three. So I mean, is that something that you've been in talks with these companies about, like a special edition or like a
So it's funny you brought that up. So I did sign a deal with for like a DVD release, like a box set thing. Nice. So they're gonna do like a 1, 2, 3, and there's actually a short film prequel too that'll be on there. It's called Human Hibachi. The beginning is an 8-minute short I did. So that they're gonna do like a box set once I get done the third one, as like a director's cut for the first one. It's just gonna be like, you know, a whole thing behind the scenes, like a DVD thing. Forget the name, but I signed a deal with them before I did the third one. It was just gonna ship out 1, 2 in the prequel, and then I came up with the third, and he's like, just wait till you do the third and give them all to me. So so we're gonna send them all out, and he can handle that shit.
Nice.
Yeah.
We're definitely physical media collectors.
Love it,
both of us. So
I tell people all the time. They say, "Why do you do horror?" I go, "Well, who else? You don't collect romance DVDs or comedy. I mean, people don't. You know what I mean? Like, people, they're horror people are fanatics. There's not fanatics of like I mean, the people like it, but they're just going to stream it. They're not going to buy a comedy DVD."
And you hit all kinds of parts of it, because you hit the people that are fans of the movie, you hit people that are fans of the artwork on the actual, and then you also hit the people that are a fan of both. So you're hitting the
exactly. Yeah. And then there's autograph collectors in horror too. I mean, people want signed, you know what I mean? So it's like, you know, why would I ever leave horror? Like, people are like, because I have like other ideas too, but I mean, listen, here's the other thing, but the great thing about horror, you can compete with, I don't want to say no money, but you can compete with a few $1,000s if you have a good idea. You can't compete in action films with a few. You need millions of dollars to compete with, you know what I'm saying? Like, in order, you got to blow buildings up and shit. Like, you know what I mean? So horror is that genre that anybody can, if you have a good idea and you got willpower, you can step up and you can compete. And that's what makes it so awesome.
Very much apparent with Terrifier franchise as well.
Exactly, great example. Exactly,
a great example of, you know, sticking it to the man. And
great example.
They came out with a theatrical release of a 2-hour slasher movie that sold out pretty much everywhere. On a limited release. They brought it back to theaters. The third one got an even larger release. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger.
That's what I'm saying. So, they're gonna do 15 of those films. I mean, you know what I mean? Every film's making 25 to 30 million. Why not? I mean, I think this one made 84 million. The new one. It made like 84 million. I just saw a stat. Like, it's the highest grossing unrated film of all time.
And it came out in the same weekend as Joker, the Joker sequel, and it beat Joker.
It's insane.
And if you know the story of the guy that plays Art the Clown, like, he is obsessed with the Joker, and his dream role is to play the Joker. And he competed against and beat Phoenix as the Joker.
And yeah, I mean, like, why would you ever leave horror if you already have your footprints in it? Just keep going. I mean, it's such a great genre. I mean, just that alone, you know, Blair Witch Project, something like that. Anything could hit at any time. Blair Witch Project made. I mean, they say it was made like 10,000. I think the budget was actually like a couple more bucks. Now they put a lot into marketing, but they made how much? Hundreds of millions. I
Right.
mean,
I don't know,
you
it's
know, I mean,
Yeah.
anything could hit at any time. I mean, Terrifier is probably the closest thing to that since then. You know, against the budget of what it made, but you know, Paranormal Activity, that's another one. It's just
yeah,
crazy.
it broke crazy records.
Yeah.
Mainly because the guy filmed it in his own house, and
Paranormal, yeah, sure.
everything was all like, a lot of it was probably marketing and After Effects. That was probably a larger
but yeah, sure.
part of the budget, but yeah, it was like 250 million at the box
Crazy.
office, like unheard of at
It's
the time.
unheard of, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, so, you know, listen, man, keep the dreams alive, you know, keep going.
Absolutely. One of my other questions was kind of what was the future for Human Hibachi, but we kind of spoke more about that. A box set in the future,
Yeah.
which I'm already excited for. I'm
Yeah, the
so
box
excited
set.
for the third one. If there is a premiere in your neck of the woods, definitely let us know.
Yeah.
I would love to
That'd be
come
awesome.
and check it out.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
We've got a couple of off the wall oddball questions that we like to
Go ahead.
if you're willing to share, that is, do you have a go-to recipe for making blood?
I don't make it. So I buy it straight up. Like I just buy the blood. If I need it to be like eaten, my wife is like my special effects artist pretty much. So my wife, like that's the coolest thing, man, because I can just bounce ideas off her. So she does all that. I don't know what she does or how she cooks shit up, but she does all that stuff. Yeah, it's nice to have an in-house FX person.
Yeah, for sure.
You have a lot of budget as well.
Yeah, shit.
So I'm gonna paint a little picture here. So it's movie night, right? You're sitting down to relax to watch a movie. And it can be more than one. It doesn't have to be specifically one. What is your go-to like snack for horror night as far as watching a good horror movie?
Popcorn and wine. I love, popcorn and wine, man. Yeah. I'm a big, like, if I want to just get and see movies, to me is an experience, you know what I mean? So, I like to have a buzz when I watch a movie. You know what I mean? To me, that actually opens the mind up. I know it's weird to say, but like, I'm not like a weed smoker, so I've never actually smoked weed. A couple times, but me, I'm more like wine and a couple glasses, and it really just broadens your mind. So,
Right.
You appreciate things, like you start laughing more. It's just so that's kind of my go-to, is like a nice salty popcorn and some wine.
Nice. See, I'm kind of in the similar. So I'm more on the weed spectrum, but
Right.
I love it with popcorn and a pickle. So I'm just classic that way. But
Yep.
you're right about that. When you get a good buzz going, you tend to appreciate it. You
Yes.
notice things. I mean, there's just so many.
It's so true.
Things to find up to
Yeah.
appreciate.
No, it's so true, because like if you're watching like I know for a fact, like if I'm watching like something like where I'm sober, it's not that you get bored, but you're just like straight minded. Whereas like if you're drinking something, or you're like, I can, whatever, smoking something, your mind grows, man.
Yes.
It really does. And sometimes you see shit that you weren't supposed to see, and you love it. It's just like, it's awesome. So that's definitely my go-to snack and drink.
Nice.
Yeah.
If it's a particularly long movie, like I went to see Alien Romulus, and we smoked before we went in. Oh man, that opened up my mind.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's a whole different experience, like straight up.
Yeah, we went to see The Substance as well. And, before that, and it just you kind of you feel it almost like draw.
You internalize. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure, dude. I'm totally down with that. Yeah, no, I have not seen The Substance yet. I know it's got great reviews. Yeah, so I gotta check it out, man.
It's really worth
body
watching.
horror, right? Yeah, body horror. Yeah, I would like it.
It's really worth the watch. It freaked me out because I was smoking, right? So I got to the point where there was a specific rule in this movie, and they broke the rule, and I was so invested with following the rule. When she broke the rule, I was like, "No, she broke the rule!" And it was just I was so into the movie, I was so knee deep in it because there was just so many crazy things going on.
That's awesome.
Definitely worth checking out.
Another really cool thing about it is it's a good portion practical effects.
Oh, good.
That's
awesome.
It's nominated for Oscars and stuff.
Yeah, that's great for the horror genre. I'd love to see that.
Yeah,
How
me
good
too.
is that for the horror genre, man? The Oscars, come on. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, last time that was, like Get Out, I think was nominated, and then Silence of the Lambs like cleaned up one year.
Right.
That was and a lot of them point to like elevated horror rather
Right.
than straight up horror movie. This is a body horror. This is a gross film, and it's just getting such great reviews and such industry recognition that it's just gonna build the genre up even more.
Love
So
to hear it. I love it.
yeah,
That's awesome, man.
I mean, I don't really have many more questions that you haven't already answered.
I thought it was a great chat, man. It was awesome.
Yeah, we had a fantastic time. Thank you so much for
Absolutely.
this, Mario.
I appreciate
We're
it.
more than happy to have you on to talk about the third one when it's
Oh,
closer
I would
to
love to.
the
Yeah,
release.
yeah. I wrapped that like March 3rd. So once that gets like a final cut, I would love to come back on and chat about it, man.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
Because I'll have a whole different understanding of. See, right now it's funny. Like when you do a movie, like you don't know how they're gonna turn out. You know what I mean? You just don't.
Right.
Like you have a vision, you have it all lined up, but you don't know. I shot 2 days so far, and so far so good. But this weekend's the big weekend, and it's like, if I don't sleep, here's the thing: when I shoot before, I don't sleep before a shoot, man. You got so much on your mind.
Oh yeah.
I'm lucky to get 2 or 3 hours before like a big shoot. So half the time you're going into this shit tired. So you're like, you just gotta. It ain't easy, man. Yeah, you gotta run. Yeah. Run for a weekend on 4 hours of sleep. Yeah, a lot of us do that, but it's crazy. So
it's great because everyone kind of is in the same mindset. So you're still kind of you're all in it together and pulling through. Whenever you're kind of feeling, I'm not quite up to this, there's always going to be someone that's going to elevate you.
100%. 100%.
A situation that's going to happen.
Teamwork, man.
For sure.
It is. It really is. It's like rowing a boat. You need everybody. Let's go. Like so you got to pick each other up, and that's what it's all about. So
for sure. And I mean, it definitely comes across from both films that we've seen. It definitely comes across that it's a team effort, and
100%.
the chemistry is definitely there.
Yeah.
So we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Watching both. So
thank you, man.
Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
It was nice meeting you both face to face, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
it.
We'll be talking more, man. Stay in touch on social with me.
Absolutely.
All right, brother. All right, guys.
All right.
Take care.
All right, you have a good night now.
All right, you too.
Thank you. Take care, Mario.
Hey guys, that's all from us here today at We Found a Tape. Be sure to follow us on our socials at We Found a Tape and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. Tune in next time to see what tape we find next. And remember, be kind and rewind.